Welcome back. You're watching Wealth Manager. Taking a contrarian call means going against the tide. Not only does this require courage for taking risks, but also in-depth research. But does the contrarian approach help uncover hidden gems? I'm joined by Anil Rego, MD and co-founder, Right Horizon Wealth Management. Thanks, Anil, very much for joining me on the show. Let me start by asking you that contra investing obviously is quite a complex strategy. But how is it really different from value and growth investing?
See, basically, contra strategy maybe is closer to a value strategy, okay, wherein you're trying to look for opportunities which are, lower value right now versus, let's say, what is the market valuation. And that is where, in some form, you're going against the market and finding undervalued stocks. The growth stocks, on the other hand, are, where you're trying to move with the momentum. Of course, you can take contra strategy beyond just, let's say, a value strategy, wherein you also look at maybe even what time you want to enter the market. It's not only about, looking at valuations and which stock to buy. It could even be a strategy for you of saying that, yes, I am expecting, let's say, a broader market correction. So I may end up choosing to stay on cash, or I may end up moving to some other asset class. So while value is maybe one part of it, contra investing can actually go well beyond value strategy.
But Anil, for the Indian markets, which is largely a growth-oriented market, do you think it really makes sense to take these kind of contra calls?
Actually, we are significantly contrarian investors, and our outlook is and our approach is contrarian, and it has worked very well for us because especially in markets like India, you will find that we are going to be more volatile. So you would find, let's say, markets falling 60%, and you will find rises, a small rise and fall. In a few stocks, you may find 30%, like you're seeing in commodities right now, contra correction that you see. So actually, in a volatile market like India, you would find that contrarian strategy helps because maybe you booked out of the market before it has fallen, and which is exactly what we ended up doing in the past. And you also then, when markets are down, when nobody is buying, then you actually come back in and sort of buy in aggressively. So you may actually end up seeing a significant better returns. So I think in a growth market like India, it's even more important to look at a contrarian strategy.
What are the kind of contra calls that have really worked in the past? If you can give us some examples.
One of the best things that worked for us was somewhere in 2008, wherein we ended up booking somewhere before the 2008 fall, which was October, November of 2007. We took a switch from, let's say, equity to debt, and that really worked well. In fact, even as recent as Jan, Feb, what we did was, because we found markets a little higher priced, especially mid caps, we ended up also, moving to balanced funds, for example. We moved to a little bit of our portfolio to dynamic asset allocation funds, because maybe our 3-year perspective was, very good, but we feel that in this 1 year we could see volatility.
So what would you say are the contra themes in the Indian markets currently that might be good bets? For example, specific themes such as maybe commodities or even PSU banks?
See, the point is, for a contrarian investor, I think you need to take a slightly longer term view. So now these are, very short term movements. So I'm still looking for maybe a larger move, which could even possibly be down. Commodities, I think definitely I would wait to look at how the commodity prices are moving, So at the point when we believe that, say, commodity prices are actually going to turn upwards, okay, then I will go and buy into commodity stocks. And there I'm buying for not just for 1 or 2 or 3 months, but I would be looking at buying it for 2 or 3 years, so that, then you get sort of multi-bagger returns than, just maybe getting the small, moves there, which are difficult to predict, because you may get it right sometime, you may get it wrong many times. So I would rather look for the slightly larger picture, and I definitely think that both commodities and banks right now, I'm not necessarily looking at investing now, because the risks that I see, keeping in mind the global market risks, I would rather pause right now rather than getting into this cycle of investing both into commodity stocks as well as banking.
The other area, Anil, is gold. I mean, do you think that taking a contrarian call on gold is something you would recommend at this point?
Yes, we've been studying gold very carefully, like I said, because we are studying US markets right now. gold is the other important asset class that we are looking at, because that's another, for us, it's a leading indicator to say that what are intelligent investors and what are some of the larger investors doing, because they end up coming in at these times and going and buying into those assets. And what was interesting, it was again collaborated by gold as well, suddenly coming up and doing reasonably well. So I think gold could become a very interesting contrarian call in terms of buying. At this time, I think everybody is not interested in gold, saying that what is the future of gold and where is the price going. But I think these are the times when you could see a sudden move, and that could, for all gold could become the best performing asset in the coming year. So the point I'm making is, yeah, whether it happens or not, we are not sure. But yes, definitely there are initial indicators to show that gold may just be turning around.
All right, Anil, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining in. That was Anil Rego of Right Horizon Wealth Management talking about contra investing. He says that gold may be one contra bet that could pay off going forward. But with that, it's a wrap on this episode of Wealth Manager. To catch expert opinion and views on how to make your money work for you, log on to btvin.com/wealthmanager. If you have any queries or comments, do write into us on wealthmanager@btvin.com. Thanks for watching.